comes to the Warrenpoint Virtual Halloween Show. Allow me to introduce my humble self in this most auspicious of evenings. I am Pogo the Clown. A pleasure to meet your humble selves. And now, why am I here? Well, I have a most important reason for being here tonight. I am your host, as to bring you through the past to Warrenpoint's old traditions, where old secrets are laid bare, and little skeletons hanging in closets are sure to come out. So, what do we have in store for you humble viewers tonight? Well, sit back, relax, for you're in tune for some song, for some story, and perhaps a few surprises along the way.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I fear myself. Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change, and in the bad times I fear myself. I'm off in deep end, watching I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Crash to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow, in the shallow, in the shallow, we're far from the shallow now. I'm off the deep end, watching I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Crash to the surface where they can't hurt us. We're far from the shallow now. In the shallow, in the shallow, in the shallow, we're far from the shallow now.
Tell everybody that we are here, we are live, and we are absolutely spooktacular. For now, I will educate you slightly on this All Hallows Eve, on Samhain. Samhain, I hear you say, what's the daft old clown talking about? Well, my dear friends, Samhain is another title for All Hallows Halloween. For tonight, my friends, while you are all tucked up in your beds, thinking you're going to have the best dreams of your life, there are demons and shadows that do not sleep.
How and why do we celebrate Halloween in Ireland? The connection between Halloween and Ireland is as strong and powerful as the evil spirits who have always come out to play their tricks at this time of year. Halloween has its origins in the Celtic festival of Samhain. The word Samhain is rooted in the word Sam, meaning summer, and Finn, meaning end. Samhain was very much like New Year's in that the old was cast aside to make room for new life. The tradition of the bonfire at Halloween is linked to Samhain as a fire festival celebrated over the night of the 31st of October. The Celts would have celebrated the end of the cycle when all of the crops would have been harvested and stored indoors. The celebration would have marked the end of the harvest season and the arrival of the darkness of winter. Farm animals would be brought inside to shelter from the ravages of the oncoming winter. It was also at this time that the souls of the departed would return to their homes. The changing of the seasons was seen as a threshold by the ancient people when the boundaries between the world of the living and the dead crossed.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed that, faithful viewers. But my friends, I must ask you a favour. I must ask you to spread the word! Be a town crier for one night only. And now I'm talking to the kids. Well, that's a drag. Well, anyway, who's to say that I'm at fault, hey? Now, kiddies, little people, little diamonds. Listen, I just want to see your costumes. I want to see how beautiful you look. I want to see how spectacular you look. And after all, who knows? Maybe you even might get a surprise for the best costume next year. Next on our agenda is something truly fascinating indeed. Our own Warrenpoint bookworms have written something a little bit special for this time of year. I love poetry, Shakespeare especially. Once more onto the breach, dear friends. Blood and carnage galore. Oh, I do love this holiday season.
Hello, I'm Madeline from We Bookworms and I'm here with our Gruffalo. Halloween in the Point. At first the air is thick and dark. No one stirs, not even a hedgehog in Warrenpoint Park. The bookshop is deadly quiet and our bookshop fairy Belle is getting ready for her scrumptious candy diet. But now our little fairy is getting rather wary as she hears an odd sound, but there should not be anyone around. Footsteps, stop, 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 can be heard out there in the night. There is also a strange bright light. Suddenly, one ghostly face appears, and Belle must face her biggest fears. One by one, another creature takes shape at the bookshop's door, and our little fairy can only think of hiding somewhere underneath the crooked floor. The shop's doorbell makes a loud jingle, and in come a lot of spooky beings, all ready to mingle. 2 white ghosts, a vampire with a black cloak, and a witch with a broom can be seen, and a tiny monster that is rather green. Then, suddenly, Belle has an idea. These are just children, I do not need to fear. Our little fairy is ready to welcome each new bookshop guest. She knows that these spooky bookworms are truly the best. Finally, Belle gives the children a few sweet treats for the journey back to the ghostly Warrenpoint streets.
Now, my faithful viewers, I would ask you now to take both hands and come back in the past, further than we have ever gone before.
The ancient Irish stories tell us of Clocta, the red-haired daughter of the archdruid Mugrua, who died at the Hill of Ward in County Meath, giving birth to triplets. The people celebrated the Great Fire Festival on the spot that she died at Samhain in her memory. The Hill of Tara can be seen from Clocta, and surely must have been a magical spectacle for the ancient people in attendance. Our modern day Halloween has some very deep roots in our culture going back millennia. The arrival of Christianity in Ireland, led by St. Patrick, saw the old pagan customs been replaced with Christian celebrations. November the 1st became All Souls' Day, and the connection with the pagan customs surrounding the dead is very clear. The evening before was known as Halloween, and it's not surprising that became Halloween. The tradition of dressing up at Halloween can be traced back to Celtic times. The people would light fires, wear masks and make noise in an attempt to confuse the spirits and drive them away from the people's homes. The masks also prevented the dead spirits from identifying and exacting revenge on their enemies gathered during lifetime. The pucka, an Irish fairy, which blasted any apples that had not been harvested, thus making them inedible, could take the form of any animal and caused all sorts of mayhem for farmers milking cows or horse riders.
They stalk the streets, having their own party, screaming and planning bloody murder. My dear mother, Mildred, horrendous woman, really. She beat me with a wooden spoon more than I could fingers that I could count. Well, you see, it was because of me my dear old Mildred ended up on top of that bonfire, roasting like a pig on a spit. Oh, memories. I can still hear her screams. Bless her. Brings a tear to my eye, really. Put your hands together for the next act.
Hello boys, Gabriel Sava here. We just want you to wish all Warrenpoint supporters happy Halloween and be safe in these crazy times, and make sure you come on Saturday and support us.
Now it's time for a little segment from our own Warrenpoint town, Bingo! Oh yes, and let me tell you, he's bigger than O, let me tell you that. He is the funniest man I've ever met. Funnier than myself. Enjoy. I know I certainly will.
This is Big Ho, and you're very welcome to Harbourside Radio. I'm in my studio here just after my show, and of course Halloween's a wonderful time of the year. It always reminds me of my Aunt Kitty and my Uncle Charlie. They had the fruit shop in Warrenpoint beside Mace, and of course we had plenty of apples for ducking at Halloween. But my Aunt Kitty was a great woman, and she was a great cook, and she used to make apple tarts. And of course, she put the coins into the apple tarts, and being from the south, she used to put the old three bits with a hair on them from the south of Ireland into the apple tart. And what happened one night, she was eating her own apple tart, and she swallowed the threepenny bit. So I told her at least there was 3p in the kitty.
Now, we have a very special treat now in store next for you, lovely viewers at home. Do any of you like to play the old-fashioned guitar? I certainly do myself. But for now, we could have a special surprise guest from perhaps a grim reaper who may stalk your shadows at every waking hour. I ask you now to sit back, relax, feel your bums grow, prick up your ears, and listen to music that you have never heard before. About the symbolism of Halloween. What is the one thing we all carve year after year? The pumpkin. Oh yes, indeed, the pumpkin patches are all ablaze this time of year, with people coming to take their pumpkins and carving the scariest face they can possibly carve. Possibly as scary as mine. Was that a laugh? I hope it was. Now, the reason why we carve the face upon the pumpkin, well, you may think it's for mere decoration, but again, no, there is not. As I said before, faithful viewers, there are creatures on the streets upon All Hallows that do not sleep. It is the face of the pumpkin that turns them away, keeps them at bay, stops them from their skullduggery, and keeps them, shall we say, good little demons. Never did work much for me, though. So if you do see me, make sure you throw out a couple of candy bars. And now, let's learn a little more about the pumpkin, shall we? Over to you, David Attenborough.
Halloween pumpkin. Pumpkins are hollowed as lanterns all over the world at Halloween. But this is a tradition that originated in Ireland to ward off evil spirits and light the way for travellers in the most scary of evenings. However, it started out in Ireland with the hollowing of a turnip, when Irish immigrants made their way across the Atlantic in search of a new life, escaping the ravages of the Great Hunger in the 1840s in Ireland. They brought with them these ancient customs and practices with them. The turnip was replaced by the pumpkin, which is native to North America.
Now, County Down has a lot to offer us, especially here in our little seaside town of Warrenpoint. But now, what we have next is sure to amuse you like an act like no other. Please get ready, put your paws together, and welcome this beautiful, stunning next act. That was interesting, wasn't it? Halloween. It's always been my favourite time of year. So, what do we have coming up next? Well, Wonder's Delight. We could have some poetry, perhaps some music, some song.
I was working in my lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, he did the mash. It went on in a flash, he did the mash. He did the monster mash in my laboratory in the castle east, to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came to their humble abodes to get a choice from my electros. He did the mash. He did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, he did the mash. It went on in a flash, he did the mash. He did the monster mash.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little ditty. I know I certainly did. Now, my friends, I've a little story to tell you. I've just raided Warrenpoint Library, burnt it to the ground, really, and found myself a lovely little book. It's called Legendary Stories of Carlingford Lough District. What the biggest load of crap. I'm not even in this. Not one page. Not one mention of Pogo the Clown. No, there's just this old bat Jenny. Oh, I tell you what, though. For a little bit of literature, there is one teeny-weeny little paragraph that caught my fancy. Perhaps I will regale you with a short reciting, shall I? Clean the wax out of your ears! Round the hilltop he could see witches' broomsticks mounted flee. Evil spirits dark and red waved their arms overhead. Imps were jumping through the bushes. Demons flew through the air like thrushes. And he saw the one who fell pass in flame with a sulphurous smell. Absolutely riveting stuff. Michael G. Crawford. Now it's time for something a little bit more special. Music with a difference. Music extraordinaire from my favorite band, Those Guys. You see, my friends, because we are in lockdown, Halloween just isn't the same this year. But allow me to alliterate the possibilities. You see, although there may be a lockdown, my boys, Those Guys, they ain't locked down. They are up. Now let's put our hands together
To listen to some great music!
Say, baby, won't you take a chance? Say that you let me have this dance, and let's dance. Oh, let's dance. We'll do the twist, the stomp, the mashed potato too. Any old dancer that you wanna do, but let's dance. Well, let's dance. Hey, baby, if you're all alone, say that you let me walk you home, and let's dance. Well, let's dance. We'll do the twist, the stomp, the mashed potato too. Any old dancer that you wanna do, but let's dance. Let's dance. I'm riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of her mouth. The curiosity's running wild. Cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go. Riding along on my Cali blues, so trying to get a bill to lose. All the way home I held a grudge. The safety building wouldn't budge. Cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go. Well, I'm the type of guy who will never settle down. When pretty girls are, well, you know that I'm around. I kiss them and I love them, 'cause to me they're all the same. I hug them and I squeeze them, but they don't even know my name. They call me the Wanderer, hey, the Wanderer. I roam around and round and round and round and round. You call me the Wanderer, yeah, the Wanderer. I roam around and round and round and round and round. You went away and left me long time ago, but now you're knocking on my door. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. I hear you knocking, go back where you've been. I beg you not to go, but you say goodbye. Now you're telling I woke up this morning, Lucille's not in sight. Asked my friends about her, all her lips were tight. Lucille, you don't do your daddy's well. It ain't nothing to you, but I love you still. You shake my nose and you rattle my brains. Too much of love does a man insane. You broke my will, what a drill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby, oh, feels good. Hold me, baby, well, I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind, gonna tell this world that you're mine. I shake my nerves and I twiddle my thumbs, feeling love because it sure is fun. Oh, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
And here I am up in my madhouse, with nothing but my straitjacket to keep me warm. And eHarmony, I've just sent a love request to Jenny Black. What a cheeky little minx she is, let me tell you. Although I hope my current love, Lazara, doesn't catch wing of it. She can be quite a feisty broad when she's angry. Nothing worse than a woman scorned, eh? On my head be it! But let me tell you, my friends, there is nothing more relaxing than the booming, a sky on fire with fireworks. Why don't we all sit back together as one happy family and watch years gone by of Halloween festivities via the sky? Well, friends, what can I say but what an act? No, what a show. Let's face facts, I was the true star of the whole thing.
Me, Pogo the Clown.
Not your little children dressing up.
Although they were pretty impressive, I'll give you that. But my friends, on a serious note, I would like to thank every act, everyone who was involved tonight on this lockdown Halloween, for your efforts, for your time, for your enthusiasm, and for your fun. For it was truly an industrious night, a night that will be remembered through the very corridors of history. Although COVID has tried to knock us down, and it has tried to ruin our All Hallows Eve, I say no! I say we stand together and continue to stand. And I bid you all a very happy, a very joyous Halloween.